There's reaction from last night's Premier League showdown. Chelsea are in the thick of all the transfer talk. Spurs have extended Alderweireld's contract. Real Madrid struggle yet again. And of course, there's today's Friday feels. That and more coming up in the next few minutes as I'm your host, Matt Froelich. You are the One Footballers and this is the Daily News. So first up and to last night's Premier League showdown where Manchester City drew Liverpool's unbeaten run to an end with a 2-1 victory. However, there were some major talking points in the game. First off, I just want to say I didn't actually think the game was very good. Don't get me wrong, I know it's an overly tactical affair when you get two fantastic teams playing each other. But if you compare it to the bigger games across the continent like El Clasico or Der Clasico or even some of the other derbies, I didn't actually think it was that good in terms of footballing quality. However, I'm sure you guys will have a lot to say, so I want to know in the comment section below, first off, what you thought of the game. Secondly, what did you think of the goal not being given? I'm going to be honest, it wasn't a goal. I know you can show me a million different angles and I know it looks like with the shadow and with a few pictures coming off the TV that it looked like it was in, but the goal decision said it wasn't. There was a tiny part of the ball that wasn't over the line, and as harshly as you'll feel done by, it just wasn't a goal. I've always maintained the thing about the goal decision system, and even with VAR, you're going to absolutely love it when it goes for your team like Man City, and you're going to absolutely hate it when you're a Liverpool fan and it doesn't. That's the way the game goes, but from what I can see and from the referee's official watch, it did not cross the line. Thirdly though, after the game, after the goal that wasn't given, was it a red card for Vincent Kompany? Personally, on first looking, I think it was, and that's all the referee gets. He only gets one chance to make the decision. He can't go watch the replay like the rest of us can. He can't see the fact that it wasn't actually a terrible foul, but he did still make contact with Salah's foot. So I'm going to say I think it was a red card. But of course, let me know what you think about the whole game in general and everything else down below. And lastly but not least on the Manchester City-Liverpool game, the best bit was after the game even finished. Benjamin Mendy was sat in the crowd in his regular clothes because he's injured. He was in the jeans and a jacket. He then ran onto the pitch to celebrate with Sergio Aguero before the steward ran on thinking he was a pitch invader and tried to stop him. Honestly, absolute comedy gold. It's not like anyone's forgotten about Benjamin Mendy just yet. He's only been injured for a month or so. And next up, we come to some more transfer news where it seems that everything is revolving around Chelsea these days. I'm not just putting them in this daily news for the sake of it. They really are the only ones who are doing anything of interest in the ins and outs section of the transfer window. Now, we all know that they signed Christian Pulisic early in the week, but it's the exit door at Stamford Bridge which is really hotting up. So Bayern Munich have come back in with a third bid of the week for teenager Callum Hudson-Odoi of around 30 million. They're thinking now that Pulisic's there, they won't be needing Odoi as much and they're going to try and sign him. Elsewhere, Gary Cahill could be on his way out because Fulham want him to shore up their leaky defence on a loan deal for the rest of the season, just to keep them in the Premier League. Cesc Fabregas has been told that he can't go to Monaco until they find a suitable replacement. Remember, the likes of Kovacic are only on loan at Stamford Bridge. And lastly, Alvaro Morata could be heading back to La Liga with Sevilla. But Chelsea fans, I want to hear from you. What do you think of the potential of losing 4 players in the January transfer window? Does this mean that you're going to go ahead and sign a load of new ones within the next few weeks? And what does it mean for actually disrupting the squad? Will Chelsea be able to finish in the top 4 or not? Well, I'm going to leave a poll right here so you guys can have your say. Next up, into some more transfer news where Spurs have extended the contract of their defender Toby Alderweireld until next summer 2020. This, however, means that Alderweireld has not signed a new contract. This is from the club inserting this clause in his contract originally, meaning that they've chosen to keep him for an extra year. However, because of the situation that is arising, there is a clause in the contract which says that Toby Alderweireld can leave for an extra 25 million. Basically, this is put in at the beginning because, if has been reported in the last few months, Alderweireld does want to leave. If Spurs extend the contract without him having a say in it, which they have done, it means that he is still available to leave or he's still an attractive option to other clubs because, let's face it, buying a world-class centre-back who's only 28 years old for 25 million should be on the top of everybody's list. Manchester United are reportedly interested, but it's not clear whether or not Spurs will sell just yet. In the meantime though, they obviously do have the chance to convince Alderweireld to sign a new deal long term. However, with their wage structure the way it is at Spurs, it's unlikely that they'll be offering him anything big. And next up, La Liga is back. After the winter break, Real Madrid have kicked off pretty much doing the same thing they did before the winter break, stumbling. They still sit in 4th position because last night they couldn't beat Villarreal, who at the beginning of the evening were in the relegation places. And whilst things aren't looking so good for Real Madrid, they're looking even worse still for Gareth Bale. Yet again, last night he came off at half-time with another injury, this time in his calf. It seems that no matter what he does, he could not be relied on to be Real Madrid's star man. I'm not doubting his talent, he can be a fantastic player, but if Real Madrid aren't going to sign anyone in the January transfer window, and then they're surprised when they're counting on Bale to take them to the latter stage of the Champions League, but he's injured, they've got no one to blame but themselves. Who are they going to sign in the January transfer window? I haven't got a clue. You guys give me your thoughts down below. Real Madrid fans, who do you want to see brought in to shore up the attacking options? Elsewhere in the game though, it was good for all football fans to see Santi Cazorla not only get on the score sheet once, but twice on his return to some regular first team action. He's had a torrid 2 or 3 years with countless injuries, 11 operations, and apparently bacteria eating away a part of the ligament in his ankle. So to see him back on the pitch, scoring goals and playing some beautiful football is a great sight for every football fan. Unless you're a Real Madrid fan, of course, but everyone else. And lastly, because it's Friday, we have today's Friday Feels. This is the part of the show where you guys can let me know what you think is going to happen over the weekend. What is your gut prediction? It can be to do with a player, a manager, a coach, a team, whatever. For me, the FA Cup is back in England. This is England's major cup competition and always throws up an upset or two. So I'm going to go for some pretty long-range upsets, but I guess that's the magic of the cup. My Friday Feels this week are that League 2 leaders Lincoln will cause an upset by beating Everton. Gillingham of League 1, the lower reaches of League 1, will cause an upset by beating Cardiff. And over in La Liga, it is second against third, and I think Sevilla will actually beat Atletico Madrid 2-1 to take their place in second. Of course, let me know your Friday Feels down below, as well as everything else on today's Daily News. What did you think of the game last night? Who did Real Madrid need to sign? And will Chelsea really sell all of those players? You can also smash the like button and click here to check out all the other videos that we've got going on Onefootball. But until next time, I will see you guys later. Have a great weekend.